The air was thick with the pungent, sickening aroma of rotting flesh. The sound of water dripping from a leaky pipe echoed through the dim and damp basement. It was a place of nightmares, a place where no sane person should ever find themselves. However, Sarah was in that place, all alone and helpless. Sarah had just finished her late shift at the diner and was walking home alone when a hand reached out from a dark alley and grabbed her by the arm. Before she could react, she was knocked unconscious. When she regained consciousness, she was lying on a cold concrete floor, her hands tightly bound behind her back. As she looked around, she could see the shadow of a tall, thin man standing in the corner. The man had long, greasy hair and a twisted smile on his face. Sarah could feel his eyes on her, watching her every move. She tried to scream, but a cloth gag had been shoved into her mouth, and her cries were muffled. The man stepped out of the shadows and approached Sarah, holding a sharp knife in his hand. He moved slowly and deliberately towards her, pressing the cold steel of the blade against her throat. "You're going to be my new friend," he whispered, the stench of alcohol on his breath. Sarah shook her head, tears streaming down her face. She didn't want to die such a terrible death, all alone and afraid. She fought against her restraints, struggling to break free, but it was no use. The man dragged her across the room and threw her on a dirty mattress in the corner. For days, Sarah was kept captive in that basement. The man tortured her, both physically and mentally, forcing her to do unspeakable things. Her captor enjoyed watching her suffer, and it seemed like he had no intention of letting her go. Sarah refused to give up hope. She clung to whatever shred of hope she could find. She prayed that someone would find her and rescue her from this nightmare. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, her prayers were answered. The police raided the basement, guns drawn, and freed Sarah from her captor's grasp. But the damage had already been done. Sarah was never the same again. She was haunted by the terrible memories of her captivity, by the horror she had endured. Even though her captor was caught and sentenced to life imprisonment, Sarah knew that she would never truly be free from the fear and terror he had inflicted upon her.